Hey, I've been away from Eternal for about a week now, but I'm going to dive back in. Well, half a week. Going to dive back in with some. Nope, not some ranked play. That's the wrong button. With an Eternal card game draft. So we open a completely useless rare, a very mediocre conditional common that has one specific deck and does just a 3/3 for 3 outside of that deck, a 2-color card that is good in a particular niche red-black deck but not very good outside of it, and a really sweet black bomb. In terms of commons, we've got Lightning Strike, which is some fine removal. I guess Granite Acolyte and Yeti Snowslinger have their place. Gorgon Swiftblade is great, but it's a 2-color card, so you need to be in those colors to want to grab it. So we're going to get the Horse Snatcher Bat, which is by far the best card in the pack, even ignoring the color combinations. So now we have a choice between grabbing Twilight Raptor and going for a sort of theme black-blue flying deck, or a Lethrai Ranger and just getting some really sweet black creatures, because Lethrai Ranger is great. What are the color combinations with black again? Black, blue, and black. Let's make 100% sure. This is something that I'll get down pretty soon, but it's oh, black, red is the other one, isn't it? It's a function of me not having played this game in a little while before recording this. So it's black, blue, and black, red. Right, which I should have known because I just saw Smuggler's Stash. Okay. So the Chakram is actually a pretty sweet option because you can stick it on Horse Snatcher Bat and get 9 damage in the air. And that's kind of tempting. I have to say I like blue-black as a color combination so far more than I like red-black for drafts. Red-black is more combo-based. They printed a large number of cards in this set that care about your graveyard, your void in Eternal, and that's a pretty conditional game plan. So if I'm doing this, I want to draft some like infiltrate cards with a bunch of red removal, maybe some cool red weapons like the Chakram, and then hope to get some evasion out of black. So I guess that's a game plan, like aggro or mid-range creatures. Knifejack is certainly an aggro creature. We could have gotten 2 Twilight Raptors in addition to the Bat, which would have been pretty sweet, but I don't yet regret not picking the 2 Raptors. And then we have basically nothing else. 3 mediocre or bad commons. 4 mediocre or bad commons. Anyways, Knifejack is the clear pick. I think that kicking Grenadin is fine. Venom Fang Dagger is worse than fine. It's bad. And Rampage is better than both of them. It's just a solid combat trick. It's one of the worst combat tricks in the game so far, but there are only like 4 combat tricks in the game so far. So, and combat tricks are really good in this game. I mean, just having a combat trick is awesome. Here's a pretty bad pack. We're looking at Magma Javelin, which we seriously do not want. It's like a much worse version of the Chakram, like a much worse version. And Guerrilla Fighter, which I don't think is a good card. I don't like paying 4 mana for a 3/2. 2 is just such a shakily small amount of health. But we're gonna have to grab it. Well, maybe hope that we don't have to play that. Some good options here. I've found Treachery to be pretty good. I don't think in principle that it's an especially good card. I really don't, but I've played it in a few of the drafts that I've recorded, and I think I've posted already. And it's, it's fine. I've never had it do nothing. That 2 damage can actually matter. Oni Ronin is also good. That's also a good pick. And Dire Fang Spider is worse in this deck because we would like to be aggressive. I think between Oni Ronin and Treachery, not entirely sure what the correct thing to do is. But I think right now, since we don't know that we have the foundation for this deck, which is going to be a lot of cheap creatures that do stuff as soon as you play them, I'm going to pick Oni Ronin. Just to make sure that I have that like bunch of 1-drops, bunch of 2-drops, bunch of strong creatures that can get in there. You know, I said I didn't know what the correct pick is, and then I completely convinced myself. Oni Ronin is the correct pick there for this deck so far. Grab Scavenging Vulture and be happy about that. Again, cards like Ruin would be the pick if there were best out of 3 matches in Eternal, which I really wish there were. But you can't sideboard in Eternal, so there's no point. So let's grab Spirit Drain, which we also won't play. Wild Cloud Snake is a sweet, sweet card, and it's disturbing that no one has picked it, and it's sad that I could have Horse Snatcher Bat, 2 of the 2/2 flyers for 1, and a Wild Cloud Snake, but our deck is going to be fine, just as long as we don't see too many more Centaur Outriders. I mean, I really hope I don't have to play these cards. Oh, devastating. We could have had a really sweet black-blue deck. So, Recurring Nightmare is awesome. That's like one of my favorite cards in this game so far. Not as good in Draft as it is in Constructed, although I don't really see anyone playing it in Constructed. Pillar of Amar is fantastic, in Draft especially. It's one of the best bombs in the game. Smuggler's Dash seems pretty darn irrelevant to my deck, but it's probably the pick because so does everything else here. Combust is, like, can be fine if you have cards, if you have a bunch of recurral already, like Smuggler's Dash, or if you have cards that, whatever the ability is, that it does something when it dies. Entomb. But I'm going to grab Smuggler's Dash because it just seems so much more useful. Here, I suppose we will grab a Dark Wisp. Rebel Sharpshooter is fine if you consistently have things like Rampage and the Chakram to stick on it, or a bunch of Warcry. So it's probably fine in this deck. I think Dark Wisp is actually... No, I just kind of talked myself into getting Rebel Sharpshooter. It seems like where my deck wants to be is solid 1-drops, 2-drops, and 3-drops. I don't want to get into the trap of playing some sort of mediocre Entomb engine deck that has like 5 out of 45 pieces with Entomb, or that like interact with the graveyard, because that's a recipe for losing. So let's play Rebel Sharpshooter and try to focus on Warcry cards, weapons, and buffs. Okay, well, I consider Frontline Cyclops pretty awesome, so let's grab that and be happy. Oh man, my black-blue deck could be so good. Alright, I think Cloud of Ash is almost always going to be useless. Maybe if you drafted a very, very aggressive deck that's trying to go for like a turn 5, turn 6 win or something, getting rid of all of their blockers is sweet for a turn, but I don't think that's where we're at. I really don't like Devour because, again, it pushes me towards the deck that I just think is really hard to draft a good version of and really easy to draft a bad version of. Maybe I'll grab the Rampager and just not use it. Okay. So Song of War is bad. Super, super conditional. Direfang Spider is not where we're at. Ravenous Thornbeast is probably in this deck just a slightly worse card than Xenon Destroyer. I probably want to... I'm going to heavily focus on getting removal and putting down its Xenon Destroyer and playing something like the Chakram on it, or rampaging it to get it over something with 3 power that blocks it. It's just a really sweet turn. I guess I'll take Pyre Adept and hope I don't have to play it. And same with Direfang Spider. Okay, so I don't think Ghost Form is where I'm at. I don't think I have a single Infiltrate card yet. Yeah. Scavenging Vulture is probably quite good in my deck. I also think that Rampage is going to end up being quite good in my deck. But this is similar to the Treachery versus Oni Ronin pick, where it's just like, I need to make sure that I have the cards that are going to make my deck able to get in damage every turn. And Scavenging Vulture does nothing better than get in some damage, because It's a flying card that comes down fast. All of this stuff is stuff I almost certainly will not play. So the question is, am I that aggressive that I can run Frontier Jito? I think I want to be. Rakano Outlaw is sweet. That is a sweet card. Warcry and Quick Draw at curve. On a 2/2 for 2. That's probably the pick. I like Frontier Jito. And when you have a lot of cards like Knife Jack and Oni Ronin, it gets awesome. Frontier Jito has a higher upside and a higher downside than Rakano Outlaw. Rakano Outlaw is just solid. Let's take the solid card. Okay, I'll grab another Vulture. And this is a sweet pack. Tyriax is great, Field Captain is great, Monument is good, Awakened Student is great, Static Bolt is good. Yeah, is it. A lot of people are going to be happy with that pack. Do I get Mana Fixing or another solid creature? Let's take these out, the cards that I really don't want to play. This is the bad Mana Fixing, and if I'm playing a deck that wants to put down cards like Knife Jack and Oni Ronin in first turn, Stonescar Banner is actually extra bad. It's just so much worse than a normal Sigil. Let's grab the Thorn Beast and see if we can get things that make us happy to play it. Like the Wisp that when it dies you draw a card. And the other thing about Thorn Beast is that it makes cards like Recombobulator and the card that is 2/1/1s for 1. Normally those are mediocre to bad. Ravenous Thorn Beast makes them like reasonably solid playables. Grab an Oni Ronin and be happy. Okay, well, speak of the devil. I'm not happy with Recogulator. I don't actively want that card, but okay, I'm probably actually happy to play as many Scavenging Vultures as I can get, just because it's so sweet with cards like the Chakram. And I probably do want more good weapons if I see any. I'll get the Rampager and not play it. Also, guess I might play this. That's like at the top of my non-playables in terms of cards I would be willing to play. Wow, 2 foils in this pack. So the question is, would my deck rather have Amethyst Acolyte or Stonescar Magus, both of which I believe edge out the 2 uncommons in my colors, the Granite Monument and the Assembly Line. I think I want the Acolyte because it's a faster card, significantly faster because you put it down, can immediately get rid of a blocker on the 3rd turn sometimes, or even if you don't kill one of their cards, you turn one of their cards that would be a profitable blocker, like a 2/2, into a 1/1 that can't block, you know, whatever is coming at them. Although, no, yeah, I have several cards. Like I have Knife Jack and Oni Ronin. Because I was thinking like I have a 2/2 Quick Draw and 4 flying 2-drops. So it's like getting blocked on the 3rd turn isn't a major concern for me. But I do have Knife Jack and Oni Ronin. So. And on the 4th turn it can help Xenon Destroyer get damage in. So let's get the Acolyte. I'm not sure that that's the correct pick, but I'm not too worried about it. So Annihilate is great. We're happy to take it. We would also have been happy to take Blood Beetle. Probably don't need 5 Scavenging Vultures, but you never know. Might be sweet. I mean, the 4 Scavenging Vulture deck is like the closest I've ever seen to wanting to play Rally, but still don't think it quite makes it. Okay, the sidearm's pretty sweet. That's what we're looking for. Ways to make our Vultures bigger, ways to make our Destroyer bigger, our Sharpshooter. Well, this actually, putting the sidearm on the Sharpshooter is redundant because it gets Quick Draw from itself and from the sidearm, but happy to grab another Knife Jack, yep. Over everything else, yep. Sure. I'll take the Wisp. Yep. I probably want the Acolyte because it makes my Vulture bigger. Yep, that's true. It's really good with flying cards. I don't want any of this. Like, Sabotage might be cool, again, if it were best out of 3 gains. Wow, that's a gift. An Amethyst Acolyte this late is a huge gift. And I'll almost certainly be playing that sidearm. Another Vulture. Do I play all 5 Vultures? You'll find out once I've built my deck.